everyone, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here to talk about my June anticipated releases. So you guys, spring and summer months, well really most of the year, there are so many things coming out that I am so eagerly anticipating. And you guys, I love making these videos because they motivate me to read so much. And it's interesting because these books, so the books that I'm going to tell you about are not books that I'm necessarily on hold at the library or on NetGalley. I don't necessarily have plans to read these books this month or really anytime super soon, but they're all ones that I'm super excited about. And so it's interesting to see when do I read them? Do I read them? I don't know. But that's not the point. The point is all of these good ones are coming out. And so let's just get into it because there are a ton for June. So starting on June 6th, the other caveat that I always put out there is that these are the most recent dates that I have seen. So I get most of my most of my sources are NetGalley. I'm on a couple publisher lists that I get their new releases. And just randomly hearing about things. And so all of these, I think, are the correct dates, and I think they are either new releases or a republishing of something. So let's just get into it. June 6th. A Little Ray of Sunshine by Kristen Higgins. So I love Kristen Higgins, especially in the summer. She's great for romance, chick lit, but generally more women's fiction, I would say. And this is about a guy that shows up, an 18-year-old boy shows up at her door, and it's the son that she gave up for adoption 18 years ago. So sounds interesting. I am fascinated by adoption stories and just how it all works out, and so I'm really intrigued. Next is Same Time Next Summer by Annabelle Monaghan. I'm not sure how to say that last name. And I think I've read something by her, but I'm not for sure. This is about an engaged woman who runs into her first love from 14 years ago. So from the ages 5 to 17 or something. They spent every summer together, and then he broke her heart, and now it's 14 years later, and she runs into him. And so I love that. That's kind of first love, second chance is one of my favorite tropes. It kind of gives me Love in Other Words vibes from Christina Lauren, and I'm excited. I hope it's done well. I hope my bar is not too high on that because it very well could be. Next is Always Isn't Forever by J.C. Cervantes. This is a YA about two people who were best friends, soulmates, as much as you can be. I think when you're a teenager, you think everybody's your soulmate, but maybe not. He dies and comes back in the, his soul comes back in the body of, the town bad boy. I don't know how that works, but so she is, missing her friend, but also kind of attracted to this bad boy, and she can't figure out why, and he's, trying to kind of win her, but he's in the body of this bad boy, so it sounds interesting to me. Next is The Whispers by Ashley Audrain. So, I liked The Push. I didn't love it as much as everyone else did, because I didn't think the end was that shocking, but, anyway, The Whispers is about 4 suburban families, and you guys, I love the suburban dramas, whatever, thrillers, call them what you will, but it's about 4 suburban families, and I think one of the families, the son fell out of his bedroom window and is now in a coma, and all 4 families are connected and somehow intertwined in this event, and so yeah, we'll see how. And I love suburban drama because, you guys, I am in suburbia. I'm deep in suburbia. I live in the Midwest. The suburbs are plentiful here. And you always wonder, what's going on in your neighbor's house. So it's kind of fun. Next is The Paris Daughter by Kristen Harmel. So Kristen Harmel is one historical fiction author that I like. I'm kind of hit and miss on them. She's one that's very prolific, very well known, very popular, and I don't think I've read many from her, but this one sounds intriguing. So it's Paris in 1939, and there's 2 moms that become friends, young mothers, and one of them is the target of a German occupation, and so she gives up her daughter to the other one and says, hey, try to keep her safe. Keep her safe. I'm gonna do my thing, So the mom that gets the kid, she owns a bookstore, and that bookstore is bombed. And so now when the war has ended, I think, the mom comes back looking for her kid, and she's missing. So what happened? I don't know. Next is, now we're on to June 13th. So we've got Borrow My Heart by Casey West. So this one, all you need to tell me is Casey West. She's one of those YA authors that, I feel like you know what you're going to get. It's a cutesy, fun, definitely summery kind of romance contemporary book. And so I don't really care what this is about. I'll probably give it a try, but It's about a girl who overhears this guy, like his friends are dogging on him because he got catfished by his online friend or whatever. And so she pretends to be that online friend to kind of save him. And sounds really cute. Sounds, I mean, like a very 2023 teen kid read. So sounds fun. Then we've got Save What's Left by Elizabeth Castellano. And this is, I think, going to be a funny one. It's a debut. So it could be great or it could be a little rough. But about a woman who moves to like a beach town looking for just some peace and quiet, and I think she ends up with like in like a war with her neighbors. Again, I live in suburbia. I live on a cul-de-sac. We are really good friends with the majority of our neighbors, but it's just kind of interesting to think like neighborhood antics. And we have a software website, whatever, called eNeighbors. I know it's one that's like pretty, there's Nextdoor, eNeighbors or whatever. There's like neighborhood communication, and there's always so much drama on there, and I think it's so funny. So I am like interested in neighborhood drama. Next is the 5-Star Weekend by Ellen Hildebrand. Again, call it Ellen Hildebrand, and I don't really think I need to know anything else, especially like she is the queen of summer romantic fiction, or summer women's fiction, I would say. Romance, women's fiction, generally more women's fiction by quite a bit. So this is about after tragedy strikes, a food blogger gathers her 4 friends and they go to Nantucket. Almost all, I think all but maybe one or maybe all of Ellen Hildebrand's books are set in Nantucket, and so this one's no different. 4 women coming together, food blogger, tragedy strikes, women's fiction at its prime. Next is Our Place on the Island by Erica Montgomery. So this is about 3 generations of women. So a mom, like a daughter, mom, and grandma that gather at their like family beach house or something every summer. And this summer they're coming together for the matriarch. So the grandmother, she is getting married to, I guess, like the one who got away. And so the youngest, like the daughter, I'm calling her, is a chef who has to tell her family and her boyfriend, I think, that like she's let her restaurant go in the red. Mom is not so sure that she's happy about like her mom getting remarried because the dad just died not very long ago. There's family secrets, 3 generations of drama and women. It sounds great. Next is The Drowning Woman by Robin Harding. So Robin Harding is another thriller author that I feel like people have really divisive thoughts on. Some people really don't like her stuff and some people really do. I think I've only read one, and so I don't really have a lot of thoughts, but this is about a homeless woman who kind of rescues the society woman from drowning, and so then the society woman like pulls her into like her web of lies and things that are going on. I don't know what's going on, but sounds interesting, and I am willing to give it a shot. Next is The Happy Life of Isadora Bentley by Courtney Walsh. So Courtney Walsh is a Christian fiction author that I am just recently getting into. I've read one that I really did not like and one that I really did. And so I am intrigued by anything new that she's got coming out because I'm not sure. The one that I did not like was very over-the-top Christian fiction. The other one was virtually secular, and so I'm interested to see where this one falls. But this is about a university researcher who just likes things to be predictable. She likes to stick to the rules. She doesn't really believe in love, and she goes on. She sees like an article or something, and so she goes on a quest that is like 30 ways to be happy. And she, I think, meets this like professor guy, has a relationship with him. I don't know. Sounds cute. Next is When We Are Sisters by Cynthia Ellingson. And this is about 2 sisters who I think have been estranged for like 20 years and then they're coming back together. And I just think that's so interesting. Sister relationships are unique. I have 2 sisters and I have 3 girls. And so they've got sister relationships. Obviously they're young, but sister relationships are unique. And so thinking, I want to know what pulled them apart for 20 years. That is a long time. And now how are they going to navigate coming back together? I'm so fascinated by that and can't wait to see. Next is The Long Way Back by Nicole Bart. So this is about an Instagram influencer, young teenager, I think, and she goes missing, and her mom is the main suspect. And so I think her mom's trying to figure it out, as well as just like everybody else is uncovering secrets of this mother-daughter relationship that maybe are a little suspect. I don't know. Next is The Spectacular by Fiona Davis. So this is one that at first I was like, am I interested in that? I don't know. But the more I read about it, the more interested I am. So it's a in New York City in 1956, and it's about a 19-year-old girl who gets selected to be a Rockette. So she is just like over the moon, excited about being a Rockette, but then she realizes like this is hard, and it's just grueling. And then the theater is bombed by the Big Apple bomber. I don't know. I'm assuming that's a real thing. I don't know. It's like a serial bomber, and so she pulls herself into the investigation. And this is not, I don't think, cozy in any way, but it kind of sounds like it with the whole like inserting herself into the investigation when she's a 19-year-old Rockette, not a police officer, but we'll see how it is. Next is The Sweetheart List by Jill Shalvis. So this one is Sunrise Cove #4. And most of Jill Shalvis' books are companion novels. Like, you don't need to read them in order. I don't know if that's the case with this one. I have not read any of the other in the series, but I'm assuming it's fine. This is about a woman who, her life just kind of falls apart, and she gets rid of anything that doesn't spark joy. And she decides to go take like a month in Lake Tahoe. And she wants to, or maybe it's indefinite. I don't know. Maybe she's moving to Lake Tahoe. I'm not sure. She goes to Lake Tahoe to open a bakery, and she's got a best friend there that owns a bookstore. I think she runs into like the bar owner who's gonna be her romantic interest, I think. And she meets a teen runaway also and takes her in. So there's a lot of relationships to explore in that. Jill Shalvis does it great. She does it with great humor. Her books are often a little steamy, and so not all of them are. The ones that are more women's fiction tend to be a little tamer. This one definitely has both the elements of women's fiction and romance, so I'm not sure where it'll fall, but we'll see. Now we're on to June 20th. So we've got The Quiet Tenant by Clemence McCallan. And this is a debut, and this is about a serial killer, but it's told from the perspective of 3 women in his life: his 13-year-old daughter, his girlfriend, and then it says the one who he has spared. And I don't know why he spared her or what, but it's women telling the story of the serial killer. Sounds interesting. And for a debut, again, they could be great or they could be rough, and I'm always wanting to try debuts because there are some authors that just knock it out of the park, and I have a new favorite author to follow, and I love that feeling. Next is Welcome to Beach Town by Susan Wiggs. So Susan Wiggs is another one that does really great women's fiction, romance. Hers are not always summer-based, but she does usually do a great summer one. So this is about a California beach town, and the high school Victorian valedictorian gives some sort of town secret or community secret away, and it's I don't know if it's a he or she, in their valedictorian speech, and sounds interesting. I'm assuming this is going to be more adult, like it's about the community ripple effect of that, but maybe it's going to have a YA element. I'm not sure. Then we've got What the Neighbors Saw by Melissa Adelman. And this is, it says Desperate Housewives meets The Couple Next Door. And I love both of those things. And it's Suburban Secrets. Like I said, love it. So say no more. Next is one that I also probably need to say nothing about. The Only One Left by Riley Sager. So I've only read a couple Riley Sagers as well, and I feel like people are so fangirl over him. And I'm not necessarily in that camp, but I'm not in a don't like him either. I'm just kind of neutral. And so this is about a family in 1929. The whole family was killed except one daughter. And so she is assumed to have done it, but no, police could never prove it or anything. And now it's like the 80s, and that daughter is old and getting elderly care from a nurse, and she's only able to communicate through typing and stuff. And she says she wants to tell her nurse everything, like wants to tell the whole story of her family dying. And so what happened? Is she innocent? Is she not? I don't know. Next is The Happiness Plan by Susan Mallory. And this is just looks like 3 women searching for joy. It doesn't mention any sort of like vacation or summer away or if they're friends or anything like that. But women's fiction, you guys, Susan Mallory, all these people do such great women's fiction, and everybody likes to put out a summer thing, and I love that. Next is June 27th. We're on June 27th. The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. So I don't know why I always want to add an L to that and make it like Polston, but it's Poston, I think. So this is about a woman. She like has this temporary apartment, and it's an apartment share with this guy, and she likes him and finds out that he is actually from 7 years in the past. And so she's living in the future or he's living in the past. I'm not sure, but I love books that like play with the concept of time. And I guess this apartment that they're sharing is like a pinch in time where things can kind of overlap. And so I am really interested to see how this is done. I hope it makes sense. Sometimes that's my complaint about like either time travel or books that play with time, is that like they're not very clear. They don't make sense how it all works. You just kind of have to completely suspend disbelief. So we'll see if that's the case. Next is The First Ladies by Marie Benedict and Victoria Christopher Murray. And this one is so interesting. It's something that I could see myself falling down a rabbit hole about. It is a fictionalized version of the friendship between First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt and civil rights activist Mary McLeod Bethune. And I don't know much about that. I don't know what's true and what's not. And I'm kind of interested, like, do I find out what's true and then go into the story, or do I read the story and then find out what's true? I don't know, but I really want to know. It's about them teaming up for civil rights things, and it sounds really interesting. Next is The Night It Ended by Katie Garner. So this is about a criminal psychologist or psychiatrist, I'm not sure which. She gets involved in the death of a girl at a boarding school, and she can't, I don't know if she gets overly involved or if it's just the death of the boarding school, the death in the boarding school that is the whole story, but boarding school sounds really interesting. This is one that I will probably save for fall or winter because it definitely has like that kind of wintry vibe. I don't know when it's set, but the cover and all of that gives me like fall spooky vibes. Next is The Cottage on Glass Lake by Amy Pine. So this is a recent divorcee. She goes on a month-long beach trip with a woman that she doesn't really know very well. Like, I think they've been like lifelong friends, but kind of not close friends. And one's a perfectionist, one's free as a bird. They find men, they find themselves. Again, women's fiction, you guys. I love it. This is the season of women's fiction, and I'm here for it. And then last is The Best Summer of Our Lives by Rachel Hawk. So Rachel Hawk is another Christian fiction author that I feel like she does very light Christian fiction. So if you are not into Christian fiction, you may still like it. This is about, in the summer of 1977, 4 friends had to go to, I can't remember what it's called, but nowhere in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, and they were camp counselors. And now she's kind of found herself having to go back there. She's in a band. Her band kind of ditches her in Tulsa, so she goes back there, and I don't know what happens, so we'll see. So that is everything I'm anticipating for June. I know there's probably more. Let me know what you are excited about, or if you're really excited about any of these books. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.